mga ka-Tribu and welcome to another episode of Daily Tribu Straight Talk where we tackle current issues that matter to each of us. This is Komfie Manalo.
And this is Chito Lozada. Good morning. We are live on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune now on YouTube.
And today we are very fortunate to have three guests. They are from the India Business Forum, representing the pharma sector and then led by its president. He's also the managing director of Biocare Lifesciences Incorporated.
Mga katribu, Mr. Dileep Tiwari.
And good morning, Sir Dilip and Sir Manoj and
Good morning.
good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
To all of you.
Good morning, everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how are you?
All good. Energetics.
Yeah. So first question. So can you tell us about the Indian
Indian
Business Forum?
what
And
does
what does it do? And what's your focus here in the Philippines?
correct?
The India Business Forum, it's a group of all Indian corporates who are operating in Philippines. Basically, these are the sectors or industries coming from pharmaceutical industry or BPO, IT, textile, automobile, agriculture, and all these companies has comprises a group which is called India Business Forum. So our main focus, we act as a think tank to our ambassador of India. We all gives our inputs in different industries, what the enabling concerns of the industries are as of now, so that our embassy or ambassador can take up those concerns to the different authorities, and somehow we can contribute toward the growth or even the economic development of the Philippines. So like what many sectors or many companies, Indian companies originating here, already contributing as of now.
How many members are there in the IBF, and what industries are you involved in?
We have about 60 members approximately we are having in the organization. As I mentioned, so the major dominant is definitely there is a pharmaceutical and healthcare. The second dominant sector is in our chamber is IT and BPO. So as you know, the IT and BPO companies are providing lots of major employment in the Philippines as of now. And the third is here automobile sector, chemical sector we are having, and even the agriculture companies. So there are different, you name it, all the sector companies are present in Philippines as of now, who are somehow providing their product, their services, technological know-how to the Filipino companies at large here.
And the companies, the Indian companies that are located or situated in the Philippines, how many are they right now?
They're major, all the major IT companies which I'm talking about, they all are present over here as of now. So like if you talk about the Infosys over here, Hinduja is here, SCL is here, Datamatics has set up the
TCS is
centers
here.
here, TCS is here.
These are the global giants.
Global giants, yep.
In IT, which are all present here in the Philippines.
Philippines.
Laptops.
Yes.
Yes.
So in terms of, if I say pharmaceutical companies, they all having their own subsidiary over here as of now. Like Lupin is having subsidiary, Lupin Pharmaceutical, Sun Pharma, Torrent Pharmaceutical, Hetero Drugs, and many other companies are doing operations indirectly. They are not present here, but they are all providing their product and services by exporting.
Or they have
The
the Filipino
medicines.
partners here
Filipino partners.
whom they export from India, and they represent
Distributors.
the
Yes.
Indian companies here. So almost all the major top Indian companies are already present in the
In the
Philippines,
Philippines.
which are contributing in a big way.
True.
How about in agriculture?
In agriculture, their company Advanta Seeds, actually Advanta Seeds is doing a very fantastic job here, because what they are doing here, the hybrid seed production, they are doing in the Philippines as of now, because there is a government rules enabling also. So Advanta Seeds having a large farms where we are doing this is hybrid seed production as a small scale, and that seed production which comes out, hybrid seeds, they're providing to Filipino farmers.
Hybrid seeds, you mean rice, grains,
Corn and rice.
corn and rice.
Yes.
You mentioned that the IBF serves as a think tank for the ambassador
Yeah.
to explore areas of opportunity in the Philippines. So, in your discussion with the ambassador, which areas do you think you should where we can explore more, or which industries that offer opportunities between India and the Philippines?
See, I think, India and Philippines has very similarity in terms of, like we always talk about in different forum, especially in IT and BPO. So we say in different sector that we are not competing, because now if you say that BPO sector of India has already, of the Philippines has already surpassed India in 2014. So India should be more concerned, but it is just opposite. We are working together because when the BPO sector in Philippines is increasing, at the same time, IT-enabled services
Yeah.
are also coming up, where Indian companies are playing a very important role. The companies here like HCL, they're providing a lot of IT support service because the BPO is increasing. So somehow the growth of India and the Philippines are contributing toward
Yeah.
each other. So it's a more synergy. It's not a way, other way should we think that we should be jealous or we should think opposite side. So we are competing, not competing, but we are supporting each other.
Yeah. So the growth of the Philippine IT BPO industry
Yeah, we're
also
complement-
supports the growth
yes.
of the Indian companies because the Indian companies provide the back end
Right.
support for that operation.
Right, Komfie.
So it's complementary rather than competitive.
Competing, yeah.
Yes, complement each other. Second sector, I say also the healthcare and pharmaceutical, which is also a big concern. You know, so today because of all Indian generic pharmaceutical industry, so if you see over a period, over a decade of period, the cost of the generic drug in the Philippines has drastically come down, more than 60-70%, like I was discussing earlier. You know, that the maintenance medicine or a life-saving medicine, which like metformin or for hypertension, they used to cost approximately a lot in the Philippines earlier. But today a metformin is available only at 2 or 3 pesos. So somehow the generic industry of Indian pharmaceutical has contributed a lot so that even the common
Talk about my particular contribution to Department of Health, like we supply more than 90% of the HIV drugs to the Philippines.
Oh,
And we proudly can say that we are able to save a lot of cost of the Philippines government, which they used to buy from the other UN agencies or which was more, expensive. And we have brought the cost down almost by say 70% or 60% of whatever the previous budget used to be. So we're making things more affordable. We're trying to, make more and more, advanced drugs available at very affordable price. Now, like something which is, I talk about the complex cancer medicines, like biosimilars or the advanced, difficult to manufacture drugs, which we are bringing at a very, very affordable price in Philippines, which used to be very, very expensive before, and now we are making things more affordable for Philippines.
Well, actually, I can attest to that. I'm actually I benefited a lot from the Indian medicine because I suffered a heart attack in 2006, and at that time there's the generic law has not yet been passed. So my maintenance drug there, I was spending around 15,000 pesos per month for my maintenance. And then when the generic law was passed, and we were importing medicine from India, my cost of medicine went down to 1,500 per month.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's 90% savings per month for me.
wow, that's good.
Yes.
Cost of medicines.
That's something like which the mindset is also changing now from say branded to the
Branded,
generic.
yes.
Now we see what the efficacy level of all the generics is almost the same. There is no difference when it comes to efficacy levels. You buy a branded or you buy a generics. And India is known as a generics. For generics, it's known as a pharmacy capital of the world. So the thing is, everything is same, and we are going to make it more and more affordable in the coming times.
There's rather a lot of roadblocks from the established pharma firms in the distribution of generic drugs here in
Well,
the
I-
Philippines.
Though we don't say the roadblocks, it is something like the mindset
Mindset.
of the country, of the doctors,
Yeah.
which is changing now, and they are realizing it that there is no difference when something which is available at 100 pesos and the same something is available at 10 pesos. So people have more options to buy. So we are not saying they have roadblocks for us. It is about the mindset which is changing now for the generics in the country.
Yeah, but not all drugs have generic counterparts, like especially the drugs for
Basic drugs.
See,
Yeah.
But
there
now
are-
the
for
things
certain
are,
illnesses.
but now if you see if you understand the pharma industry, the patents are there and they get off-patented after time to time. So now you see in the last 5, 6, 7 years, a majority of the blockbuster drugs which used to be there, now almost all of them are getting off-patent slowly. So we as India, our pharmaceutical big companies are able to manufacture the generics version of the same branded version, and we are making it, you know, available here in the Philippines as well.
Right.
Is this still a government-to-government thing, like the importation of the
No,
generic
it's private.
drugs?
It's not a
It's
government.
already private.
It's not government to government, because the government, I think the Philippines government doesn't interfere in buying directly from the government to government, because there are tender bodies are there. When the tender comes out, so when any operator, be it Indian company, be it a Filipino company, they are free to operate over here, so they can participate in the bidding, you know.
And it's a very transparent,
Very
transparent process where you
Yes.
can represent whatever the drugs you want to, make it available here. You give the costing, and it's a concept of L1. The lowest one wins, and
Right.
then we start supplying to the government agencies. Either it is a big government hospitals here, or it is a Department of Health. So as far as our
Process is
experience,
okay.
the process is very, very transparent.
So how many, what is now the percentage of generics in terms of the market right now?
As far as my understanding now, like if I compare it 10 years back and now, like, you know, total what I see generics to the branded, the ratio is going to more 60% on the generic
agreed,
side and 40% still on the branded side in the Philippines. But if you see the growth is drastically increasing year on year on the generic side. The market share for the branded is going down and the generics is going up because it's more affordable.
See, actually the government also putting a lot of actually attention, and they are even educating the people that generic medicines are same as the innovators, you know. So if you're buying generic because the cost of production is lower, generic are affordable, so people can have at least buy these medicines more even freely, you know. So the government focus also, since the government has passed a generic law.
I believe, yeah, you have
Yes.
a generic
So
law in
that-
Philippines
that's why it is
where
happening.
you promote
Yeah.
that there should be more generic consumption, because if this is more generics,
Right.
I believe the government hospitals are able to save a lot of budget, you know, which they have to spend so that more and more people can afford the medicines here.
I would add one thing here. The government of the Philippines doing one fantastic job. The FDA is putting a lot of attention, and they are making the thing little bit stringent, which is good for the Filipino, because FDA also want to make sure that qualitative medicines are also coming up, not only just affordable. So the government of the Philippines or FDA has made it compulsory that all the tablets, especially the injectables which are coming, that must be as equivalent in terms of potency as compared to innovator. So we are bound to submit the bioequivalence study, bioassay analysis of the innovator. So that's actually the government has did a very good job here, and we must appreciate.
And I also must agree with you with your point earlier that we have to change the mindset of the consumers or the public that the efficacy and the potency of generic drugs are the same with the branded medicine.
See, one thing coming from India, I think I showed one thing that, see, the India, like today, the 33% of the drugs which are approved in US per year, 33% are originating from Indian manufacturing. India is having approximately 3,000 pharmaceutical manufacturing facilities, which has a different location. If you count a total different facility they are having, somebody has one, somebody has two, approximately 10,000. The largest number of the US FDA approved manufacturing facilities outside of US is, that's India. So why we sharing that? That all those drugs are manufactured in US FDA approved manufacturing facility. And from the same facility, the drug manufactured being supplied to US, Europe, Australia, and the same drug coming to Philippines. Only it is generic. So there is no difference what US people are having, UK people having, or what Filipino having. Like the Indian manufacturer dominating the US market by supplying the 40% of the total generic requirement of the United States. Or a global, if I talk about, the 25% of the global generic supply is done by India. So
Yeah.
that's a very big number.
Yeah, that proves high
Quality.
quality of Indian
Exactly.
generic medicine.
And thank you very much. This is a very exciting conversation, and we're learning a lot about
We're just
about
scratching
we're just scratching the surface. But
surface.
unfortunately, we have to take a short break, and after we return, then we will discuss more of about your companies, and of course how Indian pharmaceutical companies
And-
is helping the Philippines buy affordable medicine. So we will be right back.
Thank you.
Nasa kamay mo ang swerte, ngunit hindi ito isang laro na para lang sa'yo. Dahil bukod sa pag-asang maging milyonaryo, ang pagtangkilik mo sa loto at ipapang produkto ng PCSO ay nakakalikom ng pondo para sa mga programang pangkalusugan, tulong at serbisyong medikal at kawang-gawa.
Lahat ng minimiti makakamtan sa PCSO.
Iba ng panahon, ang dami ng bago ngayon. Pati ang mundo natin, well, nagbago na rin. Buti ang bayan, bigger, better na. You can buy it to centers, pati sa mga parties may online pa at app. You can buy it with your fingers, still don't remittance and more. Online shopping, you can buy it all. Di magpadala, you can buy it all. Anumang pera transaction, you can buy it all.
Sabayan ang pagbabago ng mundo for all your pera transactions, all new Bayad.
Viber is the free and secure way to connect with friends and family, anywhere. Send messages and make phone and video calls for free. Download Viber now.
With Globe, our steps can lead us to millions of doors opening, millions of paths unfolding, and millions of reasons to keep going. Now's the time to be with a network that gets better every day for you.
Every time I'm on the road, I can expect high performance from Phoenix Fuels. Now with Pulse technology, delivers enhanced power and acceleration to make every trip come alive.
Nasa kamay mo ang swerte, ngunit hindi ito isang laro na para lang sa'yo. Dahil bukod sa pag-asang maging milyonaryo, ang pagtangkilik mo sa loto at ipapang produkto ng PCSO ay nakakalikom ng pondo para sa mga programang pangkalusugan, tulong at serbisyong medikal at kawang-gawa.
Lahat ng minimiti makakamtan sa PCSO.
With us are Mr. Ravee Dikshit, the Vice President of Nephroplus, Mr. Manoj Sihag, the Country Manager of Camber Pharmaceuticals, and of course, Mr. Dileep Tiwari, the President of India Business Forum and the Managing Director of Lifesciences Incorporated. Before we took a break, we discussed about the pharmaceuticals industry and how the Indian pharma companies are helping to reduce the prices of medicine in the Philippines. But now let's focus on the discussion on each individual companies that you represent. So, Mr. Ravee, can you tell us about Nephroplus? What do you do? What do you offer? And how will your company help Filipinos afford what you are offering?
Komfie, thank you very much for giving us the platform to showcase or to make people understand what Nephroplus or Indian companies are doing in the country for the citizens. Nephroplus is a 13 years old company now, specializing in providing dialysis services. It was started by Mr. Vikram and Mr. Kamal. Mr. Kamal is himself on dialysis from the last 25 years.
Wow.
So he understands the pain that a dialysis patient undergoes
And the cost.
and the cost involved in it. Uh, we are operating across 5 countries as of now. We have 340 dialysis centers. We started in Philippines 2 years back, right in the middle of the pandemic, and currently we are operating 12 dialysis centers. We own 24 dialysis centers. Out of that, 12 are operational. The problem that we are trying to solve in the country is by opening dialysis center not just in Luzon or not just in Metro Manila. We want to open a dialysis center in every nook and corner of the country. That way we are trying to become more accessible. We are going to the people by being available next door so that they don't have to travel hundreds of kilometers just to get this life-saving treatment. One of the vision of the founders is to ensure that people on dialysis across the world get to live a happy, productive and long life. Usually when somebody gets on dialysis, people think that the life is over.
Yes.
But the way we think is the life is not over, it's just a very different life from there on. And you have to accept on how to tackle it, on how to make some changes in your life and then move forward. Very recently in India, where we operate 300 dialysis centers, just day before yesterday, we organized the Indian Dialysis Olympiad. It is one of the Olympiad. It's one of the only kind of sporting events in the world where we give an opportunity to people on dialysis with kidney failure to come and participate in their favorite sporting activities. Football, basketball, table tennis, badminton. So what we are trying to do is do a community outreach event by going out to the people, inviting them, making them a part of the daily chores where they can play and enjoy their life like everyone else does.
So it's possible to go on with your routine.
Of course it is possible. The only thing that you need to be careful about is ensuring that you get adequate dialysis. And when I say adequate, ideally you should have dialysis every alternate day, so thrice a week.
Yeah, twice a week.
And so it's important that in an year, at least you get about 160 treatments. So PhilHealth very recently announced that they are going to move from the 90 treatments quota to 156 treatments annually for everybody who is subscriber to PhilHealth.
PhilHealth. Yeah, but actually, I'm surprised. I'm surprised that the owner of that Nephroplus has been in dialysis for the past 25 years, and
Correct.
that's very rare because once you undergo dialysis, you will undergo dialysis for life.
Yes.
And the life expectancy is here. I think you'll be lucky if you get 10 years, and of course, because of the cost, you need at least 180 plus treatment per year, and currently PhilHealth will only shoulder up to 90 treatments. So the rest of the 90, you have to find ways where you can fund that treatment. So how will Nephroplus allow, not aside from accessibility to dialysis centers outside of Metro Manila, but the affordability? How will you solve that problem of affordability so that the people who needs dialysis can afford the treatment?
Good question, Komfie. I think this is something which needs to be resolved collectively. And when I say collectively, I mean all the stakeholders which are involved in bringing the price down. It involves service providers for sure, but it also involves the pharmaceutical companies. And when you asked me the question around how is Mr. Kamal on dialysis for 25 years, the main reason behind that is he gets a dialysis done almost every day.
Wow.
And then he also has access to maintenance medicines, which are very affordable. And that is something that I think the Indian pharma companies will be able to fix going forward. And they're already doing that, in fact. I am buying a lot of my medicines for the dialysis patients from the Indian pharma companies. And we are able to provide those medicines at a cheaper price to people on dialysis. So I think this needs to be done collectively. The other thing is when I say how we are going to solve to answer your question, the more accessible we become, the less people have to travel. Right now, they are spending a lot of money on just traveling. If somebody is traveling 100 kilometers one way for getting dialysis, and that person has to do this lifelong because it's a chronic treatment, then a lot of your cost goes towards traveling itself.
Yeah.
Instead of focusing on buying medicines, buying healthy food,
and the time.
and the time.
Yes. So what would be the ideal setup? Every barangay centers would have a dialysis machine.
Ideally, that would be
Dialysis,
the setup. Ideally, that's how it should be. That every barangay, every LGU, every government facility should have a dialysis facility. And we are very keen to explore PPP projects, public-private partnership, with the local government, with the central government. If there is an opportunity, we are very much keen on shaking hands.
And are there developments regarding that? Have you met with the government or local government officials
Yes.
to push the
Yes, we are
program?
already in talks, and through the India Business Forum and also with the Indian ambassador, we are able to reach out to multiple governments, multiple governors and mayors, and we are in talks of setting up some dialysis centers. You will hear about them in the near future.
So, Mr. Manoj, tell us about your company and what are you doing here in the Philippines?
Thanks, Komfie, for this opportunity. So, my company is mainly a core pharmaceutical company. The name is Camber Pharma in Philippines, and we are a subsidiary of Hetero India. So, just to give a brief about my company, like my parent company, Hetero. So, this is one of the biggest manufacturing company in India, and we have more than 36 manufacturing units which we have in India and across the world. We are also, one of the biggest supplier for HIV antiretroviral treatment, which we supply to, I'll say, almost 40% of the globe total HIV patients. We supply the HIV medicines to these patients. And on the other side, we are also a very big company when it comes to anti-cancer drugs. So we are contributing a lot of anti-cancer medicines which we bring from India, and we provide to Filipino patients at a very affordable price. And the same thing also we are providing to the government hospitals, also Department of Health. And the biggest contribution, what I say, which I'm proud of, that my company made cancer treatment very affordable in the Philippines, which used to be very, very expensive here. So particularly, I like to quote an example. 6 years back, when I launched one of the molecule which is meant for multiple myeloma, it's a type of cancer. One injection was costing 90,000 pesos that time. I made that injection. I'm selling today in Philippines market at 10,000 pesos. The same medicines, same treatment, but you see, the affordability, and more patients are able to afford the same treatment at 1/9 of the price. So imagine, so the saving which a patient have, which a government have on their budget.
So that's about
that's the biggest contribution.
10,000 pesos per treatment.
Yes, from 90,000 pesos we brought it to 10,000. This is one example I'm giving. And on the same way, we are making more and more complex drugs which are very difficult to manufacture, which are not actually available here. So we are making, we are importing it to the Philippines, and we are making it, available across the drug chains. If we talk about the leading drug chains, such as Mercury or Southstar or Watsons, we are making it across, available to all the pharmacies.
So, what kind of cancer does that kind of medicine cure or treatment for?
So we deal in all kind of, solid tumors and all kind of cancers we provide. Either it is breast cancer or it is brain cancer, all kind of, cancer treatment drugs we are making it available here. So just to share a fact with you, Philippines in Southeast Asia have the highest incidence of breast cancer. Highest. So I don't know what are the particular reasons for that, this particular country have so much high incidence of the breast cancer. But we as a company, we are trying to make all kind of treatment option available, which are required by doctors to treat breast cancer in the country. And at a very, very affordable price, and the best quality drug we import here. So we have our operations in the US also, in the Europe also. So our chairman have the vision that, whatever we manufacture, either it is developing part of the world or it is developed part of the world, we bring the same medicine to, every corner of the world.
And I think
I'd
even
like to add there, Komfie, I'm sorry, to what Manoj was saying, that the country has the highest occurrence of cancer.
Breast cancer.
Breast
Breast
cancer.
cancer.
I would also like to share a statistic which the NKTI very recently published about National Kidney Transplant Institute about chronic kidney disease or kidney failure. Every 1 hour, there is one Filipino who is developing a kidney failure. So that is a big number to be addressed, and that is why I was suggesting of opening more and more dialysis centers, making it more accessible, so that whenever there is a patient or somebody who is on dialysis or somebody who develops a kidney failure needs a dialysis treatment, they can immediately get started instead of waiting for it to worsen and then losing their life.
Thanks, Ravi. Another worrying that I also want to share with you, which I shared with you, that we provide antiretrovirals. In Philippines also have the highest incidence of HIV. HIV infections
That's what
coming
I'm
up.
about to ask.
So every day, as per the DOH data, 50 new patients, they get an HIV in the Philippines. So we have also introduced a drug which is PrEP, which is prophylaxis, which patients who are prone to get HIV, they take it, and they are safe from the HIV infection.
Prophylaxis.
Yes, so that's
I think I know a friend who needs that.
A lot of people.
I know a friend who needs that.
So
Prophylaxis for
it's a
HIV.
preventive.
It's a preventive. It's a preventive way, so that they take the one pill a day in the morning, and they are safe
you
from
can
the infection.
play around. Anyways, so how about you, Mr. Dileep? So tell us about your company and the things that you do here.
See, our company, Biocare Lifesciences, it's an 11-year-old company in the Philippines. And we always believe in bringing the new technological product which somehow benefit to the Filipino. And we always prefer to assist whenever there is a need of certain drugs which is required in the market. If I talk about during the COVID time, when the COVID hit in the market, so our company was the first one which provided the right solution to our healthcare professional, the enabling the medication which widely known as Remdesivir. It was the world's shortest that time it was. We were the first company who introduced the Remdesivir, and it was a game changer, or you can say the panacea for the treat the COVID patient. And during the COVID entire period, we launched 13 first in Philippines new molecules which somehow help our healthcare professionals in fight against the COVID-19. The major drug was tocilizumab, maybe if you recall. It was being sold that time in Philippines at 170, 180,000 one vial. And we have made sure that we supplied to all hospitals at only 18,500 peso per vial, so that the people's life can be saved. And tomorrow, in fact, just to add in, tomorrow we are having a Philippine College of Chest Physician, a convention which is going to start tomorrow onward, from 8 onward in Shangri-La. We are launching a new antibiotic which is innovated and patented, and this will help our healthcare professional not reduce to use of high-end antibiotics. Because antibiotic resistance happens a lot across the world, not only in Philippines. There are certain, like if I say in layman terms, there are generations of antibiotic. So if you use the last resort, a last generation of antibiotic, and if the bacteria become resistant, the patient has no option but to die, because you don't have life to save anymore. So what we introducing, a lower generation of antibiotic which has additional protection. Like if I say the antibiotic which has wear a helmet. So it means the bacteria cannot penetrate. So we are giving an option to doctors. Do not use the higher end of antibiotic, and somehow still the patient has options. In case the infection goes out of control, then you can use the last resort. So we as a company, we always believe in getting the new technological product which can help the Filipino and our healthcare professionals somehow to fight against the very perceived threat, that's infection.
And is that new antibiotic drug, when is this available and under what brand?
The brand name of drug is called Ilores.
Ilores.
And it is going to be introduced on 10th of this March during the Philippine Society of Chest Physician Convention in Shangri-La. So, well, I don't want to divulge more because it still need to be it still need to be launched, this medicine in a proper platform. The drug is innovated by our partner, a company in India called Venus Remedies. So the company is It's large scale research based company it is, and the molecule is really fantastic. I'm sure this will help a lot of our healthcare professional, and somehow it will reduce the burden of the government exchequer also. It will reduce the burden that because the large antibiotic, antibiotic when using, these are very expensive. So affordability of patient will also come down. So somehow it's beneficial to all the patients, for the government, and as well as for the healthcare professionals as well.
Do you also dabble with the bivalent drugs?
Bivalent.
The one that can be applied to any COVID variants that we are trying to get right now from other countries. I think the U.S.
So
Are you talking about a vaccine?
Yeah, the
I
vaccine,
believe you
yes.
must be talking
Vaccine.
about
Vaccine.
See,
Bivalent
India,
vaccine.
India is a producer, and actually, in fact, as I mentioned earlier, India is world's 60% of world vaccine are manufactured in India. So during the COVID time, India has developed its own vaccines, COVID vaccine. There are two prominent companies initially who developed, Bharat Biotech, and other was the what is the name? Serum Institute of India. So two companies have developed that time. But now if you talk about in India, there are other companies. Zydus also has developed the vaccine. And Biologically, E has developed the vaccine. So there are 3-4 major players who are a vaccine manufacturer in India for the COVID-19. In fact, you'll be knowing that like in Philippines, we have imported a lot of vaccine manufactured in US or UK, AstraZeneca or Moderna. But India has not imported even a single vaccine dosage from anywhere in the world. So Indian government believed in their own vaccine.
In fact, we have provided the vaccine to the whole
vaccine.
world. And during COVID time, the whole world acknowledged India efforts, to make COVID drugs available across the world.
Across the world. So if I say that even the Indian, because see, at the end of the day, you are like Moderna and AstraZeneca, they can develop the vaccine. But to produce the vaccine, you need large scale manufacturing capability. Now you cannot develop this capability over the night, which India has. So even the AstraZeneca vaccine was being manufactured in India. Even the Sputnik being manufactured in India. Yes, even the Moderna being manufactured in India. So it might be the R&D plant was in somehow in UK or US, but the back end, the manufacturing was all done in India. So India got benefit of technology as well. That's why the Indian government preferred to have their own vaccine. So imagine it is not an easy task to make vaccine available for 1.4 billion people. And not only the single shot, double shot plus the booster. And at the same time, you have to think about the other world also. Like in India, we have ethos. We say Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which means that the whole world is one village. It's one family. And we have to support our family as well. So not only Indian government enabled the vaccine for its own population, but at the same time, we prefer to distribute or donate these vaccines even at a free to all the countries, especially Africa, our Asian countries, or the countries wherever they need it, who cannot afford these vaccines. So Indian government has made it possible.
And had the Philippine government availed of that?
Not
It's a
at,
good
because
ethos,
this vaccine was like Bharat Biotech vaccine was already approved in the Philippines, in the Serum Institute of India, and the
Correct,
Bharat
I
vaccine,
remember
Covaxin,
Biotech.
it's approved by FDA Philippines. But somehow we could not bring it over here because the government has too much of a demand domestic plus the neighboring country. And the Philippines, in fact, the government has did a fantastic job, because they have on right time, they enabled or they source all these vaccines well in advance so that all the Filipino people can be vaccinated well.
But other than the vaccines, the main treatment, the medicines whatever required for treating COVID, 95% of requirement was met by India and the Philippines. So either it is, if we talk about tocilizumab, which Dilip mentioned, or it is remdesivir, it is favipiravir, it is molnupiravir, or the Paxlovid, the generic version of the Paxlovid was also launched by Indian companies in Philippines. So during those times, because Dilip was actively working for the COVID, providing of the medicines across the hospitals. In fact, my company was also very active in providing this remdesivir and all the other drugs which required by the Philippines hospitals. So India made a lot of contribution during the COVID times to Philippines.
And
Like if I say Komfie, just to add, during the COVID time, our company was the first, maybe if you recall, the medicine which was introduced in the Philippines was brought from Japan. We called Avigan initially. So our company was the first one which introduced the generic version of Avigan. We call it FabiFlu. It was developed by Indian leading manufacturer called Glenmark Pharmaceutical. FabiFlu, our company, Biocare, introduced here first time. And it cost as compared to Avigan, which we used to from Japan, it used to cost 400, 500 peso.
These are the tablets.
This tablet. And we made it available only at 130, 140 peso. So 1/3 of the cost of what the innovator is available. Because we understand the fact that the Filipino cannot afford those medicine that time. And we had to make it available in the Philippines. That if you recall that there was the US company which has given the license to manufacture the remdesivir. Only the 5 Indian companies, but dominantly were given the license to manufacture. And they have a huge burden to supply this medicine remdesivir across the globe. So even the Philippines got benefited because the Philippines, approximately 95% of the remdesivir supply, it came from the India. So we as a companies over here, we made sure the government supplies would not run out of for the remdesivir. So we made it available. I feel proud to say that at least we have supplied these very crucial life-saving drug during the COVID time to at least 300 hospitals in the Philippines. Somehow, if I talk, we are not the frontliner. Frontliner are our healthcare professionals, but we are somehow, we call it a silent frontliner. We work at the backside, and we made those drugs available for our healthcare professionals.
That's important.
To fight, because they are the front one who was saving the life.
Yes.
But we had to make those medicine available. Somehow we, in a nutshell, if I say somehow approximately 30 to 40,000 Filipino lives, I can say that my company has contributed in terms of saving the life. Those number we have supplied so that life can be saved.
We are grateful for that.
So we are very grateful for the contribution of the Indian pharmaceutical industry and the Indian government for saving the lives of the Filipinos during the COVID time, when especially when we needed it most.
Workers.
Yeah, and we, like I said, Chito said earlier, we barely scratched the surface, but we have to take a short break again. And but when we return, we will talk more about how both our countries can explore, gauge or opportunities in this industry or in this sector. Straight Talk will be right back after a few break.
Nasa kamay mo ang swerte, ngunit hindi ito isang laro na para lang sa'yo. Dahil bukod sa pag-asang maging milyonaryo, ang pagtangkilik mo sa loto at iba pang produkto ng PCSO ay nakakalikom ng pondo para sa mga programang pangkalusugan, tulong at serbisyong medikal at kawang-gawa.
Lahat ng minimithi makakamtan sa PCSO.
Iba ng panahon, dami ng bago ngayon. Pati ang mundo natin, well, nagbago na rin. Buti ano bayan, bigger, better na. You can buy to centers, pati sa mga partners may online pa at app. You can buy it with your fingers, still don't remittance and more. Online shopping, you can buy it all. Di magpadala, you can buy it all. Anumang pera transaction, you can buy it all.
Sabayan ang pagbabago ng mundo for all your pera transactions, all new Bayan.
Viber is the free and secure way to connect with friends and family anywhere. Send messages and make phone and video calls for free. Download Viber now.
With Globe, our steps can lead us to millions of doors opening, millions of paths unfolding, and millions of reasons to keep going. Now's the time to be with the network that gets better every day for you.
We're back. So, Mr. Dilip, I just want to know if India would be contributing that much on the manufacturing sector in the
Actually,
Philippines.
in fact, a lot of Indian pharmaceutical industry or manufacturers are looking to manufacture, make a manufacturing plant. In fact, I am also eyeing here, how can we manufacture the drug, because it's synchronized with the government thought also, make local, buy local, and the sell local. But see, we have to work on lot of synergic industries as well. Like, it's not about just manufacturing. Like if I say India, Indian government has made it enable the forward integration and backward integration. When I say backward integration, is not just the production of the goods, but also enabling those raw material. So API manufacturing has to be happening. Glass bottle, plastic bottle suppliers, and most important, the availability of the right talent, the QA, QC, people, quality control, quality analysis people, those availability. So government in India has worked a lot on that side by providing a lot of incentives to the people who establish the raw material, because if we continuously dependent on the raw material being imported from other country, the cost definitely will go high. So if we have to very actively look for more manufacturing, so these enabling industries presence is also equally important, as well as the finished dosage or finished goods industry is important. At the same time, we have to focus on the generation of the right talent or the right pool as well.
Yeah,
Because we
that's
cannot
rightly said,
import the manpower from other country to run the plant, to run the show. So that overall, if you see the basket or industrial, the backward and forward integration, it helps to make a healthy industry. Second thing I will come up, I think like the other countries are also providing a lot of SOPs. SOPs, if I tell sub, like suppose somebody is going to open a manufacturing sector or plant over here. So what's the buyback offer is there? If I say like suppose the government has a very big consumption of a certain drug or particular sector, so maybe the government can offer that, okay, you can have a buyback offer 10% of the total this requirement we can take from you. It will give a lot of confidence even to investors as well, that if I am bringing here our money, let's say $5-6 million we are going to invest, certain amount we can retrieve from there by doing investment. By bringing investment, they are not only just bringing investment, but also the technological support they are bringing in. They will hire the Filipino, and Filipino or more will get enabled and more will get expertise. So somehow we are creating an industry over here. So I think that contribution is Philippine Indian companies are actively now actually looking. In fact, there is a group was set up between the President Office, I believe, and the Prime Minister Office of India to work on this. And our ambassador is actively working on this in this priority, that how can an Indian manufacturer can set up a manufacturing plant over here, so that we can enable the buy local, sell local that we can make.
And moreover, like rightly said, the talent pool, building a talent pool in the country so that a country can support the pharmaceutical requirement of the country is very, very important. So particularly if I talk about India, the basic success goes behind the right talent, which our politics, which have built right kind of institutes at the right time, like in Indian Institute of Science, or the more advanced courses which have developed in the terms of chemistry, because chemistry is the base for all the pharmaceutical industry. So I believe that right kind of collaboration of exchanging the talent pool between India and Philippines will help a lot, because there's more and more complex products which need to be studied. So maybe a team from Philippines can go to India, and an Indian team can visit Philippines. So more and more collaboration in the terms of, say, education, in the terms of right skill development, which is required between the both countries, and where we can collaborate more, so as to make things more and more standardized.
Yeah. Talking about collaboration, the past two administrations have pushed for the Philippines as a destination for medical tourism. So how can we collaborate on that area?
Yeah. So there is a lot of things happening, though. I'd like to add on this. If I talk particularly, which is the biggest thing, which is the news between the Philippines and India, is about a lot of Filipino children which are suffering from biliary atresis. They are visiting India. So it's in the basic term, what I'll say, it's a liver disorder, which is where the children, infants are suffering after the birth, and they need a liver transplant. So proudly I can say that India is contributing a lot in that to the Philippines children. And recently, one of our hospital, which is a leading hospital of India, Apollo Hospital, have performed more than 100 liver transplant surgeries of Filipino children at a very affordable price. Now, this liver transplant, if you go to any part of the world to get the treatment done, it costs minimum 6 to 8 million pesos, which the India is able to do in 1.5 million pesos, which includes everything, hospitalization, medications, everything included. So that's a big contribution, which is happening on the, medical tourism industry. And and every year you see, like, at least 20 to 30 children, they are going to India, getting a treatment done, and getting back to the Philippines. So more and more life we are able to save of the Filipino children, especially from the biomedical industry.
And Mr. Ravi, you mentioned earlier that your company has over 300 dialysis centers in India, and you have close to 100 here, or 30?
No, here we are operating 12 as of
12
now.
as well. 12 dialysis center. But of course, in India, I'm sure you introduced a lot of innovations and technologies in your dialysis centers. And what kind of technologies and innovation or innovative machinery or equipment that you will bring to the Philippines so that we can improve our dialysis centers here?
So good question, Komfie. Let me first start by answering or relating it to the medical tourism question that you asked previously. At Nephroplus, we have something called holiday dialysis. So now that we are operating in 5 countries, any Filipino can go to those countries, even if they are on dialysis, because you are sure to get a dialysis at a Nephroplus dialysis center in those countries. We are opening the world's largest dialysis center in Uzbekistan. It has 160 dialysis machine in one building. It will soon be operational in Tashkent, very beautiful city. So if a Filipino today wants to go and visit Tashkent, they don't need to worry about where will I get my dialysis treatment because I'm on dialysis. I cannot travel. But that problem is solved. So that's holiday dialysis. So that is the medical tourism concept that we have at Nephroplus. Now, some of the things that we are bringing in Philippines from our experience of operating 300 dialysis centers in India is that there is something called dialysis at home. So we now will be able to set up dialysis facility at anybody's house, and they can get dialysis done at the comfort of their home instead of going to a dialysis center or bothering about who will take me to the dialysis center by taking out time from their office or arranging transport. Second, we are also working on providing a mobile dialysis facility. So a van can travel to your house, conduct dialysis treatment there, right, parked in your parking area or on the street, and conduct dialysis the whole day. So it can be parked in a barangay, near a barangay health facility. And it can be parked there with 2 or 3 machines. People can get their dialysis treatment done right there, and the vehicle can again turn back if there is no space available. Correct, and then go to another barangay. So these are some things that we have learned after we have spread across India's length and breadth. We are operating in more than 100 cities now. So these are some learnings that we will be bringing into the country. One last bit is that we are also going to set up multiple trainee academies so that a lot of nurses can be skilled into becoming hemodialysis nurses, and they can be absorbed into the Nephroplus network of dialysis centers. Plus also they can become available to the overall ecosystem in the country.
And then if we do that, those nurses will be earning more.
Of course.
True, exactly.
How much would it cost if you buy your own dialysis machine? Would that be pretty expensive?
Own dialysis machine as of now is ranging, there are multiple brands in the country. I'm not going to be naming the brands, but then it ranges anywhere between 600,000 to £1,000,000 for one dialysis machine.
And how long can you use it?
You can use it for pretty much the life. But it also depends on how you are using it.
But you need somebody to operate it.
Somebody to operate.
You need the dialysis nurse.
The medical work.
Well, lots of medication also required for dialysis. Not only just the machine you sit down and you can have it.
let say a caregiver operate that machine for you. It has to be a dialysis nurse.
No, and there are a lot of rules that are being set out by, very good rules that are being set out by the Department of Health. So all of those rules have to be followed for us to be able to install or buy our own machine and then operate it. So if we are able to follow all of those rules, we get a license to operate. So all of those very good rules that we have.
What I'm thinking of is when you set up a dialysis center in the barangay, how many personnel would you need to, adequately operate those facilities?
So let's say there is a 10 machine dialysis center. As per the mandate which is developed by the Department of Health, for every 4 machines, there needs to be a nurse.
One day.
One is to
one
four.
nurse.
Yeah. So the ratio that has been mandated is 1:4.
I see.
Because it's very sometimes it's dangerous to undergo dialysis because your blood
lab
pressure
won't
might shoot
get that.
up, isn't that? Or you might suffer heart attack during the process.
Well, any such disease has a complexities, So
Very complex.
their enable complexities are there with dialysis as well.
No, I'd like to add that Philippines has some of the best healthcare manpower. The Filipino nurses are famous world over. I have a first-hand experience because I was myself admitted in a hospital in 2021 because of the Delta variant of COVID. And I was in the hospital for a month with 10 days in the ICU. And I can say that I owe my life to the nurses, to the Filipino nurses, the way they took care of me without even, bothering about their life. So I think we have the best talent in the country. We just need to upskill them towards becoming a hemodialysis nurse to become more specialized, and that is very easy for somebody who has an experience of operating dialysis centers like us.
I think even in the cancer treatment, there's a specialization there for nurses.
Yeah, there are
what do you call it?
there are nurses which are specially deals in how to deal the chemo drugs.
What do you call that kind of nurses?
Normal radiologists, radiology they have a special probably course.
Yeah, we call it say onco nurses.
Onco nurses.
Particularly
Onco
onco
nurses.
nurses. Yeah, you're right.
They perform
You're right.
chemotherapy.
So there is a special kind of handling which is required for the chemo drugs. So a special kind of training is also required for that. You're right.
So
Your last words for our viewers, please.
parting word for our viewers.
Well, I would say we all came here India Business Forum. India Business Forum, again, all the member companies of India Business Forum or our chamber are here to support and work with the Philippines, with the Filipinos, so that all the Indian companies enabling from any sector, pharmaceutical, healthcare, BPO, IT, we are here to support and work together so that we can enable and we can make our Filipino brothers and sisters technologically advanced by providing the IT and BPO education, by providing the affordable medicines, what we exactly doing in healthcare segment, by providing even the more technological know-how in terms of agriculture, like our agriculture companies are doing, and in terms of automobile sector, by providing them the high quality automobile. I forgot to mention that's one of our member company. This is TVS. TVS is providing. Maybe you go around Tagaytay or different part of the Philippines, you see the auto rickshaw tuk-tuk. It's being here provided by TVS over here in the Philippines.
The electric.
Yeah, and they are also coming with the EVs, electric vehicles. Even the Bajaj, we call it Baja in the Philippines. So Baja and the Bajaj and the TVS are actively providing these tricycles, we call it tuk-tuk or auto rickshaw, so that the Filipino can have the cumbersome like tricycle you are having paddling around. So we're providing a more affordable option.
Yeah, they're very affordable compared to the Japanese brands.
So automobile sectors are also contributing very actively over Philippines over here, pharmaceutical, agriculture. So overall, if you see, in terms of Indian corporates, we are here to support, to help to our Filipino brothers and sisters, and to contribute especially toward the economic development of the Philippines.
Well, thank you very much. And you, sir?
Very happy.
So we have just started operating. It's just 2 years. In 2 years, we have set up 24 dialysis centers, out of which 12 are operational. I want to say that dialysis is something which can be taken care of. If there is a dialysis center available at every government facility, very close to where the patient is, instead of the patient having to travel long distances. So we will be opening 50 dialysis centers in the next 2 years, and ensuring that we are available in the nook and corner of the country, not just in Metro Manila or not just in Luzon, but also in down south.
Okay. And yes, you, sir, Manoj.
Manoj, yeah.
Manoj.
So, sir, first of all, thanks to Philippines. Thanks for giving us an opportunity to work and contribute to this country's progress. And what we look forward is, to give more employment to our more Filipino brothers and sisters in the country. And I would like to also add that you people, you Filipinos, are the most hospitable, lovely people in the whole wide world. And we feel, as an expat, we feel very comfortable working here. And we would like to contribute in whatever capacity we can for the progress of the Philippines. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for the kind words.
So that's it for our program.
Thank you. All the best. And mga katribu, tune in again next Tuesday, Sir Chito.
Yeah, for another episode of Straight Talk.
And once again, I am Komfie Manalo.
And I'm Chito Lozada.
And watch Straight Talk live every Tuesday at 10 a.m. on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now on YouTube.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.